Hi, Dr. Barron here. I want to just bring something special on this Giving Tuesday. And it's the 30th of November. And I just want to share a thought which I think will profoundly challenge you. It will just be something that maybe makes you really think about this whole area of giving. And I remember years ago hearing a pastor in Africa, and he was just talking about raising his son and how when his son was born, he was so thrilled. And then he got the bill from the hospital, and he just, oh, wow, he's like, this cost a lot. And then he brought the child home, and then he just went through all the expenses from diapers to to food and to all the things he had to purchase, and then clothes, and then the kid grew, and then he had to go to school, and then he had to get uniforms, and he had to get all kinds of things for the child. And he just took the story all the way through, and it was costing a fortune. I remember my father showing me a cartoon of a kid with his father in his study, and his dad said to the son, he said, "Son, you're all grown up now. You owe me $268,000. And, I remember seeing that. My dad took me in, and he was sort of tongue in cheek, but it was like, it cost a huge amount to raise a kid. And this pastor just talked about how he raised his son until he was his early 20s. And then his son got killed in a tragic car accident, or a tragic accident that happened. And his son, they had to bury him. They had to put him to rest. And the pastor was heartbroken, and he had lost this kid he had raised all these years. And but the pastor stopped in the middle of this, and he said, after they had paid the funeral, and after they had done all of that, he said there were no more expenses. He said that was it. And he suddenly realized and understood that when something's alive, it costs resources to sustain it, to build it, to help it, to grow it, to develop it, to enhance it. And to invest in life is the greatest investment we can ever make. And I really was just struck by that when something's alive, it costs resources to maintain and to sustain. I remember a ministry raising money. They were raising bicycles, I believe 100 bicycles they were giving to India. And I remember them boasting as a part of their fundraising. They said, every single cent that you give is going to go to these bicycles. There's not a single cent that's going to go to administration or anything else. And I thought, that's not great. That's to me, if I was going to be putting bicycles into India, I would want to know who's sourcing those bicycles. Are they responsibly being sourced? And who's going to get them there? And actually, who's going to distribute those bicycles? Who's going to make those people who get those bicycles accountable that they're going to use it for kingdom purposes? They're not going to sell them on the black market. How do I know that these things are going to be properly and responsibly used? And so I've made it a hallmark of our ministry. And somebody, sort of challenged me once about, if we had another $1 million, what would we do? And I said, well, if I had another $1 million, I said I would invest in 100 more people. And they were like, 100 more people? What about the kingdom? And I said to them, look, I said the greatest treasure that we have is the people that God has given us in the kingdom. God's people are his treasure. They are why we do what we do, and also we invest in people who then can do the work of the kingdom. When Jesus came to the world, he didn't go after building palaces or anything. He chose 12 people, and 11 of them that made it through. And he invested his energies, his times, his words in those 11 people. Those disciples were the pillars of the church. And we at Good Shepherd, this is what everybody's going to be getting in a few weeks' time. This is going to be our prayer card. Anybody who wants a copy of that, we put it out once a year. And we have 20 or more employees that are a part of Good Shepherd, and they're just the tip of the iceberg. These are mostly full-time employees, and these are people who who work day and night. They are, doing graduations. They're doing the grades, and they're doing, the diplomas and degrees, and they're doing everything, the camera work. They're doing all of the things that build the kingdom. They're on the phones with pastors every day. They're on the online program, and they're doing the websites, and they're doing all of the things, the shipping and the order fulfillment, duplication, all these things, translations. All of them have to be coordinated. There have to be people behind them. And so as you come into Giving Tuesday, just know that when you sow into Good Shepherd, you are sowing into people and you're sowing into the kingdom. And now I want to just, with thanksgiving in my heart, because it's a season of Thanksgiving, I want to just give a shout out and say thank you for what you're sowing into. And these are the projects that you are sowing into. We're going to go now, take a look at what God is doing. Thank you for what you sow into the nations of the world. And just want to give you that despite of COVID, the kingdom of God is not being stopped. It is not being abated, what God is doing among the nations of the world. And we've had an incredible year. Just want to highlight just a few things that God has been doing. Number one, we've opened up the Maasai language for East Africa. We're translating that now. There's a people movement happening to Christ. It's an amazing story. Number two, we have the Greek language, and we actually did a graduation in Greece this year. And there's over 80 students that are now being trained with ISOM in Greece, and we're expanding the work there and actually moving into our bachelor program as well. Japan continues to expand, doing amazing work there, and they've expanded into 11 countries. They have more than 25 campuses now that are using ISOM. They're training, planning churches. It's an incredible people movement in Japan. Beyond that, the two countries that have just been phenomenal this year have been Bangladesh. There's 77 house churches that are starting to use ISOM. There's 17 workers that are doing circuits among these new believers, mostly from Muslim backgrounds, that have come to Christ, and we're now discipling them with the ISOM with micro SD chips in a mostly Muslim country. And then India, the Orissa state, the Oriya language, we are seeing such an incredible move. There's a movement of 15,000 churches that have adopted ISOM. They've trained the top 37 and then the next 560 leaders. And then now the next level is going to be 3,500 leaders of a movement of 15,000 churches that are using ISOM to develop their leaders and to equip them for the kingdom of God. So you have a part in all of these, and you guys sow monthly into what we do. We're so excited to partner with you. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for being a part of helping us to reach the world. We are partnering together, and you guys have a share in what we accomplish. So God bless you. Thank you for what you give, and keep on sowing and believing and praying for the nations of the world to come to Jesus. God bless you.